Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Sell More Book Show, episode 635. I'm Brian Cohen from Best Page Forward. Very, very happy to see you here. We are, as per usual, live in our normal Tuesday, 1 p.m. Eastern slot. And those of you who listen normally are hearing this in our typical Wednesday morning slot. It's great to see Leanna and Carla and Deborah and Ray and Kevin and Charity and Victoria. Charity, Deborah, I think we got everybody. It's good to see the whole gang here. I'm very, very excited to be doing this week's show for you. Episode 635. That is a lot of episodes, and we're still here. 11 years plus, and it has been an absolute delight to continue and do this show. So, our show is sponsored this week by Best Page Forward's premier coaching program, our Groundbreakers Author Mastermind. This is a place where we help authors who have never really gotten past a certain royalties amount. We have a wonderful system, wonderful coaching, wonderful community, wonderful support to help you to get to the next level in your author career. If you've been stuck or on the hamster wheel for a long time, this is a great way to go to the next level. You can go check out the link in our post or at the Sell More Book Show website to find out more. Book a call with our team. We would absolutely love to help you to grow. So you can go check that out. Let's go into the show proper here, as we have the Foley effect of me sipping some tea. We had a question last week, which was, what do you do on a daily basis to make sure you move your body to help your creative process? Catherine Lake said, I do one or two of any of these things: yoga, cardio, stretch and strength, workout, walk, swim, bike, dance. I love the variety there, Catherine. W. Lance Hunt said, I have a timer set for 1 hour. It rings. I stop what I'm doing, set a timer for 16 minutes, and I get up and move. I do stretches and strength training, work on my sciatic nerve pain from PT, and I have a bike set up to be stationary, short bursts when listening to a book. I love that. 16 minutes at every hour. That seems like a good ratio there. And Patty Light Robinson said, I rotate lap swimming and going to the gym. The nice part is I have a 40-minute drive each way, so I can dictate my fiction book during the drive. I know a lot of people who do this, a lot of people who dictate when driving, and I think that's really, really smart. And then you're getting to the gym, you've done the work, you've dictated some stuff, and now you get to move that body. I love it. Fantastic. Guys, take an inspiration from this. Take inspiration from this and use what other people are doing, the things that resonate the most with you, do them yourself. Top story of the week this week is making a tough decision easier. Using a pen name doesn't have to be a hard decision. Quote, when I first started writing, said Kindlepreneur's Dave Chesson, I wanted to keep my professional life separate from my writing life. I worried about those worlds colliding, so publishing under a different name felt like the right move for me, end quote. Privacy might be the most cut and dried reason, but it can also be advantageous to have different names for different genres, particularly if they are vastly different. Quote, but regardless of your reasoning or choosing to have a pen name, says Chesson, your pen name shouldn't be random, end quote. Unfortunately, choosing a name may be harder than choosing to have one in the first place, but if you choose wisely, a good pen name can be a strong part of your marketing and branding. The first step is to choose a name that feels right for your audience. Quote, readers often make subconscious assumptions about an author based solely on their name, including age, style, and even genre, says Chesson. Looking at the names and naming conventions of the popular authors in your genre can generate ideas. Do they stick to long names or short names? Do they use initials? Then make sure the name isn't taken and that social media handles and domains are still available. Before you make a final decision, keep in mind that every pen name means more marketing and maintenance work. Unless your pen name needs to be secret, consider using slightly different versions for each pen name. instead. It will allow you to keep your books separated in the stores, but let you continue to market as the real you. It's funny, this last point, I have definitely seen people have just a different middle initial, like the simplest, easiest thing that they can use and that they can tweak in order to have kind of a different author central name. I think it's brilliant. And I think that it allows you to keep one email list if you so choose. I do think, though, that Chesson is absolutely right. Your pen name must not just mean something to you. It needs to mean something to your readers. That's why you research and see if you can find a name that would fit in your genre. So, hot potatoes of wisdom questions. When should you consider using a pen name, and when is it best to stick to one? If you're writing a vastly different genre, we're talking about children's books compared to active romance books, you definitely want a different pen name because you do not want a parent picking up the wrong thing for their kid. I think that if you're writing something drastically different, you don't want to confuse Amazon, and you don't want to confuse your readers. Second question. Have you seen successful authors navigate multiple pen names? Oh my gosh, yes. I spoke to an author just the other day. She makes $100,000 plus a month, and a portion of that comes from one pen name, and a portion of that comes from the other pen name. Absolutely possible to navigate, but that doesn't mean it's not hard. We need to remember that this can be a challenging situation. So I highly, highly recommend you make sure that you can handle the extra workload. Third one, how have changes in buying habits and algorithms affected the need for pen names? Look, a lot is determined by the computer, right? A lot is determined by what Amazon is willing to share with people. I was chatting with an amazingly successful self-help author the other day, and that self-help author has said, "Oh, well, when I write my romance book, I'll just send it to all the self-help people." And I said, "So, there are problems with that because you're going to train Amazon into thinking that this is a book just for self-help people, and that's even though she's going to have a pen name with it." So I highly, highly recommend that you keep all these things in mind. You try to keep the genres as separate as you can based on if you have the time and the energy for it. Carla says, I plan to publish my next 2 books under a pen name, but I'm wondering, do you use your pen name on your copyright page too? So I would say you could use your pen name on your copyright page, but maybe you also want to use yours just in case not that many people are looking at your copyright page. Let's see. Carla says, I want to use a pen name because I think my last name is too strange for foreigners. And look, it might be the case, right? Isn't it the case where there are a lot of actors who changed their last name in order to better fit with what people expected? It's exactly the same for pen names. I think that people do judge a book by its pen name. So it makes absolute and total sense to think about what pen name you are going to use. Let's go into the lightning round here. Questions. Let's start with a little lightning sound. Well, okay, we got the lightning in. First question. I'm embarrassed that I'm a part-time author, even though I've written some good books that are doing okay. How can I get over this? Look, there are a lot of people that even make a significant portion of revenue from their books that are still technically not full-time. They have a full-time job. I know people that have a full-time job, and then they also have a book career in addition to that. There is no shame necessary. You can choose to let the shame go. You can choose not to make it a negative stigma that you're part-time. Hey, Emily, good to see you. You get to choose, you guys. You get to choose whether or not it matters to you. Oh, and I see Kelly here. I see CBB. Is that Riley? I see Riley here, I think. And I see some other wonderful people over on the Instagram. Hey, y'all. So you do not need to put any kind of stigma with not working 40 hours a week or not working as your only thing on your books. Y'all, you do not have to care about that. You can let it go. You can process those feelings. They aren't necessary. Second question. With all the changes in the way Amazon pushes our books these days, is it ever worth republishing them and starting it all over? So here's the thing. Can a relaunch of a book with a new cover, a new ASIN number, a new blurb, and maybe even some new content, can that increase book sales? I've done it. It absolutely can increase book sales. But I want to ask you, is it actually worth it if you were to instead write something completely new, a new book one? And the answer is, it depends. It's very possible that if you put the same amount of time, the same amount of energy, the same amount of effort into writing a completely new book one, you would actually get more of a benefit from it. And so, yes, you could start over fresh with the reviews, start over fresh with the whole thing, have it be a completely new product. And we've had some authors that we've worked with do this. But if that's going to take a lot of time and that's going to take a lot of energy, it may be more beneficial if you just write a new series starter. 9 out of 10 authors will get more of a benefit from writing a new series starter than they will continuing an existing series or relaunching a previous book. 9 out of 10. And people are going to quibble with me. They're going to say, Brian, but I've got to finish my series because my sales are going to go up by so much if I finish that series. Not that I've ever seen. I have never seen someone's sales go up by like hundreds of percents just because they went and republished a book, or just because they went and wrote book 4 in their series. I just haven't seen it. And I just want you to remember that, like, you don't always have to do what everyone else is trying to do. What everyone says to do isn't always what you should do. Third one. If an author is considering a pen name purely to hide from family, coworkers, or judgment, what's the conversation or mindset shift they should try before they make that call? I have definitely seen a lot of authors who use a pen name primarily to avoid having to talk to someone about a thing. And here's the thing. You may have a reputation or something to protect. I've written a pen name book that I never shared the pen name for with the vast majority of the world. And it's like, that is something that I thought I needed to do at that time. But it's like, nowadays, if I were going to write a romance, I don't know what I would do. Maybe it would be Brianna Cohen. But it's like, I definitely think that you are allowed to write something to protect yourself, but you are also allowed to have uncomfortable conversations with people that you love or with friends, rather than keeping everything secret. Like, both are allowed. Maybe it's both. Maybe you write under the pen name, but you're also telling people that you love that you write under this pen name, so that you're not just feeling like you're hiding from the world. Because if we're going into the woo-woo energetics of the entire thing, we can actually restrict ourselves by trying to stay small and trying to stay hidden. If we get into that energy of trying to stay small and trying to stay hidden, guess what? Our books are going to stay small and stay hidden. We need to be willing to put ourselves out there. We need to be willing to be open with ourselves and open with the people around us. We need to be willing. Does that mean you have to do it? No, I'm not going to force you to have hard conversations. That's something for you and your therapist to discuss. All right. Let's keep moving on here to the next one. Number 4. A lot of authors resist building a team because they think they can't afford it. What's the reframe authors can consider about when hiring actually pays for itself? I think we have to remember that most authors hire people too late. Most authors hire people too late. They could have hired people sooner. Most authors don't realize that you might be able to get away with hiring a person for 5 to 10 hours a month rather than it having to be 10 hours, 40 hours a week. Most authors don't realize those things. Also, if you pay someone to do something that helps you to generate more income, then that person pays for themselves. If you pay someone to run your social media or run your ads or help send out your emails, those things help you generate income. And if that income is more than what you pay that person is worth it. So think about this for the reframe. What is something I could pay a person to do that would pay significantly more than I'm paying them? Because that's the way big businesses work, right? You pay someone to be able to check out at the checkout counter, but if you didn't have that checkout person at the checkout counter, it would be slower, so you actually process more things. You have better customer support, etc. So think about hiring a person that helps you to make enough money to pay you more and to pay more than that person is paid. So let's think in that direction. Last one here of the lightning round. What is a permission you wish more self-published authors would give themselves that you think would radically change both their joy and their results? It's this. You are allowed to not do the things that everyone is recommending. You are allowed to ignore the FOMO. You are allowed to tell people or to tell yourself that you do not need to do this thing. You are allowed. You are allowed to focus on the things that seem to give you results. You are allowed to cut things off your to-do list. You don't have to do all of it. You have my permission, and you can give the permission to yourself to do less, because often doing less will earn you more. Doing less will earn you more. I'm going to reframe this question of the week because I think it's so great, from Roland and from Amy helping out with the show notes. What is a permission you could give yourself that you think would radically change your joy and your results? Because really, all of us have the answers. You have the answers for yourself, more so than I even have the answers for you. And so it is very, very possible that if you take these answers with you, you answer these questions, it is going to make a major, major difference. Y'all, it has been so great seeing you in the show. I definitely want to make sure that you know this episode's sponsor, our Groundbreakers Author Mastermind. You can go check out the link to register for a call with our team that will walk you through the process, what coaching would entail for you to help you to scale up. I want to thank everyone here who was on the live, including Emily and Carla and Riley and Leanna and Deborah and all of you wonderful, wonderful people. I love that you were here. I appreciate you guys being here. We try to get here for these live sessions every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. But it has been such a delight to spend part of my day with you. I cannot wait to hear how you take this question of the week and go think about it in the intervening week. I'm so glad we got to do this episode for you. I hope you have an amazing week of book selling, and I will talk to you next week for episode 636. Bye, everybody.